We stuck to our guns. That's why what people appreciated.
Hey, you ruined my life. I got beat up in high school every day because you.
Thank you.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you.
Michael Ramone. Let's go with Blitzkrieg Bop on Indy 1031.
Welcome to another video. Today we are talking about another one of my music influences. These are things that in my life have had a big impact on the music that I listen to and have become a fan of. Today we're talking about radio station. Now, Los Angeles has had a long history of great influential radio stations. I lived there in the 90s, and you had certainly K-Rock, which is kind of world famous. You had KLOS. You had a station, Pirate Radio, for a little while. It played a lot of like hard rock. And then for another short stretch of time, there was a really good alternative rock station called Y107. I still have a little bumper sticker from that station. But they were all great stations, played excellent music, listened to them quite a bit. Los Angeles has a history of a lot of other stations that are very popular with pop music and so forth. But this is about a radio station that existed when I didn't live there. I used to go out there quite a bit. I was doing a lot of writing with a friend of mine who lived out there. So I would be out there periodically. And I imagine this is how I discovered that station, driving around during one of my visits, because this station started in 2003. I'm talking about a radio station called Indy 103.1. Kind of like alternative, punk, almost like freeform station. And I remember first hearing it and just blew my mind, some of the stuff they were playing. There was a lot of stuff I had never heard before, but it was one of those situations where maybe I was driving around in the rental car and had it on, and just like one song after another, I'm like, oh, I really like this. I'd never heard this before. And then another one, and then another one. And the cool thing was I go back to New York and I'm working at Broadway Video up in the Brill building, and I would come in at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon to do my shift. And the first thing I would do when I got into I worked on like the tape floor there, I'd go in, turn on the internet and find 103.1, because you could listen to it online at that time. And I would put it on and just have it playing through my shift. My coworkers were cool with that. A lot of them listened to the exact same type of music. So I would listen to them constantly. The station became pretty popular, and they kind of, one of the things they were most famous for was Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols had a show on in the afternoon. I would listen to it all the time. I think he came on like right around when I was coming into work, and so I would always listen to it. And he was great at radio. It was very like almost, even though it was in the afternoon, it was almost like this late night kind of vibe, because he would kind of just, you know, he's a pretty laid back dude, and just kind of, you know, chatted about whatever he wanted to talk about. He'd have certain celebrity famous names come in to talk with him, and he'd play whatever the hell he wanted to play, you know, like true kind of free form radio. And it was great. And they also had, I think Henry Rollins hosted a show there at one time. They also had Joe Escalante from the Vandals. I think he did like the morning show. And the other thing I remember about his show was that maybe like once a week, he would do like free like entertainment law. People could call up, and, you know, it was Los Angeles, and they could ask him like entertainment law kind of questions and get some advice from him regarding that. But it was just such a cool radio station. Some of the acts that I discovered through listening to Indy 103 were the Airborne Toxic Event, Block Party, the Kaiser Chiefs, the Kooks, Louis XIV, Ladytron, Mondo Dio, She Wants Revenge, Shiny Toy Guns, took me a second, Sleater-Kinney, first time I heard Sleater-Kinney was on Indie 103.1, even though they've been around for a little while. Stereophonics, really great tune called Dakota. And the first time I ever heard Tegan and Sara was on Indie 103.1. I specifically remember hearing them play this. They played Speak Slow, and I remember hearing that, and I think Tegan and Sara now have a little bit more of like a dance kind of vibe, but this album's got a little bit more like a new wave kind of vibe to it. And Speak Slow, I remember the first time hearing it, I thought it was like an old Missing Persons song from the 80s. It sounded, you know, just caught my ear so much, but I really loved that record. But like I said, I'd listen to this station all the time. Unfortunately, I guess in like 2009, the station went under. I don't know, for whatever reason. There are some articles online, you know, you could find that kind of go into the history of the station. It was a popular station, but it was still a little bit more of like cult following kind of crowd, you know. But Steve Jones, I think he took his show ultimately to KLOS now after his station went under. And that was it. I think for a while you could still listen to it online even after the station folded. It continued online for a while, but I don't know how long that lasted, but ultimately that went away as well. But yeah, just a great station, just so like you know, influential and introducing me to a lot of these newer artists that I who knows, may have never heard of, you know, before. And that's kind of what all these videos I'm doing about influences is about. It's about a lot of, you know, bands that maybe if it weren't for this specific station, in this case, you know, I may never have heard it, and I really like these bands. So, you know, you got to kind of like highlight those things. But by all means, if you ever listen to Indie 103.1, I'd love to hear any memories you have of it. Or any like specific radio stations like that. You know, we've all got them, you know. I'd love to hear, you know, some stories about those radio stations that, you know, had this big impact on you. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you another time, y'all, later on.